Alright, what's up everybody? I just wanted to make a video about Game of Thrones, talking about it, how I feel about it, and overall, I like it. It's a really good show. It, you see a lot of stuff about kingdoms, how kings rule, and how kingdoms rise and fall, empires over time, dynasties destroyed, created at the drop of a hat. And I wanted to specifically talk about Hodor, excuse me. And Hodor is a G. I forget what his actual name is. Let me look that up real quick. Okay, so I just looked up online and it said his real name was Willis, and something else said something. Another source said something else, but I remember Bran or someone saying Willis in the show when the three-eyed raven guy or whatever stuck in the tree is teaching Bran about the past. And so Hodor, this is spoilers of course for Game of Thrones, just disclaimer, but Hodor means hold the door is what it's short for, because in his spoilers, here we go, in his death scene, Hodor is holding the door, and it's just so sad. Watching it made me cry, and just the realization of everything hitting me all at once was just, it was rough because Hodor, he used to be a stable boy, whatever, worked with horses and whatever animals. He was a big kid. He had giant's blood, and but he was actually intelligent and he was capable of doing things of his own free will and whatever. But in the show, you see him as this older big guy, and he can only say one word, and he is scared to fight and never stands up for himself because he kind of can't. I mean, he's big, but what is he gonna do? He can't rule over people and manipulate and lie and spin webs of deceit, and he's just a pure guy, and it's really sad because his whole life's mission is literally to hold the door. It's to serve Bran, who's destined to become someone great, someone many people won't even know because he's working behind the scenes to protect people. And it was really sad. It had me crying because it's a time loop, because literally we see Bran in the past, and but he's his present self, but he thinks that he's only seeing it as an omniscient specter. No one else can see him, but we see twice. Not only does Hodor or Willis at the time see him, and everyone around him thinks he must be going crazy or something, but that's when he becomes simple-minded, because he sees Bran and he starts saying, Hodor, 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 or hold the door, hold the door, hold the door, because that's what Mira is saying, and Mira is also protecting Bran in the north. Also, throughout the show, we constantly see people take advantage of Hodor because they think he's stupid, but we know he's not. Also, I forgot to mention this the first time around, but Bran sees the Night King, the leader of the White Walkers, and the Night King sees him back and touches him. So that's how the Night King marks him, and that's how everyone is alerted to where they're at, their location. The Three-Eyed Raven and Mira, Hodor, everyone. That's his purpose. That's his motivation, his only drive. So yeah, if it weren't for Bran visiting him in the past, he wouldn't have been like that in the future. But in the future, if he wouldn't have been like that, Bran wouldn't be able to warg into his head and pretty much control him and fight using his body and be strong and lift things. So if it weren't for that, then he wouldn't be able to save Bran. So it's really unfortunate because he's saving Bran, and Bran only kind of hurts him. But it's not Bran's fault because it's beyond his control. It's just the will of fate, the will of D, the will of gods. But it's also fascinating. Hodor is a true G. we all wish we could have a Hodor, a true friend like Hodor in our lives, and he gave up his life as the undead White Walkers came and overpowered the door, but he held it long enough that they could escape. And then Uncle Benjen, the goat, meets up with Bran and Mira, and last I saw, they're talking. And I'm excited for Uncle Benjen to meet up with Jon Snow again. And Jon Snow, that might have to be a whole nother topic for a whole nother video, because Jon Snow is the GOAT. Of course, he's my favorite. But this video is about Hodor, so I should just end it here. But Jon Snow, and disclaimers, I'm about to spoil a lot right here, right now, because I'm in season 6. Jon Snow gets not backstabbed, he gets stabbed in the front, dies. He gets stabbed in the front like 10, 20 times by people who should be his own brothers. And it's never an enemy who backstabs you in the back, but it's never an enemy who betrays you. They have to be a friend in order to betray you, so it just hurts that much more. But he dies, and then the lady in red, the red lady or whatever, Melisandre, she resurrects him, and she was, even surprised by her own ability to do so. And then everyone on the Night's Watch just bows down to him. Like, they see him as literal ice snow Jesus. So that's it, y'all. That's my review of Hodor the G. Oh, last but not least, I remember a long time ago when I was a kid watching a Destiny video. And if anyone in the comments happens to know anyone watching this, please tell me so maybe I can find the video again. But it's like probably 10 years old at this point, of a Destiny 1 King's Fall raid where they're doing a challenge where they can only say Hodor or something, and they beat Oryx or the sisters, the encounter right before Oryx or something like that. But yeah, that's just me nerding out. So I always knew in my mind, kind of, I always knew Hodor was a character, but until I saw him in Game of Thrones, I thought he was from Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or something. But George R. R. Martin, or yeah, I think that's who wrote Game of Thrones. Genius, because it's just genius writing. It's so sad and tragic and just sorrowful, but so beautiful and romantic, because they kind of love each other in a platonic way, of course, not romantically, but in a way because they have to, because destiny intertwines their fates and their lives. And oops, sorry. But it's just so beautiful. I love Game of Thrones. I love the writing most of the time, except for when some of my other favorite characters died and just crazy shit happens. But it's a good show. I highly recommend it. And yeah, that'll be all for now. So stay frosty, y'all. Peace.